Hello, friends. Welcome back to Journey to a Joyful Life. I'm Dr. Julie Delich, and today we're going to get cozy, literally. This video is inspired by a special event that I am hosting at my local library. It's a Hygge Night dedicated to slowing down and reconnecting with what truly brings us comfort and joy. So grab a blanket and light a candle, pour yourself a warm special drink. I've got my chai here. And let's explore how Hygge and Joy Journaling can transform your everyday moments into more mindful, peaceful, and a more joyful life. So let's get started. First off, let's talk about Hygge. What is it? It's a Danish concept, and it's really about this deep sense of comfort, of coziness, of contentment with the little things, with simplicity. It is not about buying a bunch of things, although Hygge has become a bit commercialized in some circles, but that's really not what the term is about. It's about finding those little things like this wonderful warm cup of chai, the way it feels so warm in my hands, the little bit of steam that's still coming out, those little things that bring us a sense of warmth and coziness. So this ties in beautifully with concepts about mindfulness and with joy practices, which let's get right into that next. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between joy and happiness. So typically happiness is something we associate with externally driven events, things like taking a really great big vacation or accomplishing some achievement that you've been working on, and happiness is wonderful. Joy is a little bit different. Joy is more of an internal state. Joy is something that is rooted in being present to the current moment. It's aligning with what matters to you most, what your values are. And it's usually small daily pleasures that really stand out as the things that make a joyful life. So here's a great quote from Marianne Williamson. Joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things really are. I love that quote. It really summarizes what joy is, that recognition of what's already good in our lives. Next, I want to talk about why joy journaling. Why is that a practice that can be helpful to you in living a more joyful life? Well, what it allows us to do by capturing and writing down 3 things every day that brought you some joy, it allows you to capture what might be more fleeting moments and record them in a way that reprograms your brain to be looking for that joy every day in your life. It basically builds your gratitude muscle. For me, joy journaling started out of some frustration with gratitude journaling. I noticed that my gratitude journal was getting pretty repetitive. I seemed to be writing down the same general things that I was truly grateful for, but it wasn't unique and different enough to inspire the feeling of gratitude after I'd said it so many times. So I just one day decided, instead of what I'm grateful for, I'm going to write down 3 things that happened today that brought me joy. And they were really simple, and they continue to be really simple. Sometimes they're big and profound, but most days it's the way the full moon was so bright last night, and the way there were fast-moving dark clouds quickly passing by it when I was walking the dog for his evening walk. So things like that. As we build this gratitude muscle, we're also building the muscle of being present to the now. It gives us permission to savor our normal everyday life when we're looking for things that bring us joy. And ultimately, it creates a wonderful collection of joyful moments that you can reflect on in the future. When I've had a particularly challenging day, I often find myself going back to my joy journal and reading some of the things I've written in the past, and it allows you to instantly re-experience some of those wonderful memories. So I want to walk you through a very brief exercise to get in touch with your senses as a way to help you elicit ideas of what things bring you joy. So if you're able to right now, just sit or lay in a comfortable position, whatever works for you. And if you can shut your eyes, please feel free to do so, or soften your gaze. And let's slowly take a moment to scan through your 5 senses. Think about things that you've seen today. The colors, the shapes, the objects. Maybe it was the brightness of the blue sky, or that winter dark gray morning that you saw out your window, or an evergreen that continues to grow and flourish even in the cold. Anything you can think of that you've seen today that brought you some feelings of joy. Next, let's move on to smells. What are some things that you've smelled today that were pleasant? Maybe your morning tea or coffee. Maybe fresh air. The smell of snow or wind or rain in the air. And now taste. What have you tasted that's brought you that sense of joy? Maybe a little piece of chocolate, a delicious drink, a savory breakfast. Think about, really call to mind a recent taste. And finally, let's talk about touch. Think about a texture that you've experienced today that brought you some pleasure. Maybe a warm blanket, the feeling of a warm coat wrapping around you. Call to mind a textural experience. And now take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. And release the air through your mouth. Slowly blink your eyes open if they're closed, returning your awareness to the room that you're in. Bringing your attention fully back to the here and now. It's a very simple exercise that we just walked through, getting in touch with each of your senses, allowing you to connect your mind, your body, and your emotions with what's happening in the world around you. So I highly recommend that that's an exercise you can do if you are working on finding things that brought you joy throughout the day. Here's a couple other prompts you can use at the end of the day to record your 3 things that brought you joy. So we can do that sensory scan. That's a first prompt. A second one would be what I would call a values affirmation question that you can ask yourself. So you can think about what was a time today when I acted in a way that was aligned with my core values, and how did it feel? So you could maybe think about perhaps you had a difficult conversation with someone today. but you were able to stay aligned with your value of compassion and love and not raise your voice and respond with empathy and kindness, that would be an amazing thing to write in a joy journal. So things like that. Think about how the day aligned with your values. Perhaps you place a high value on nature and you got outside today. That would be a wonderful thing to document in your joy journal. And the last prompt I wanted to share with you is something I've also done a full video on around stop shoulding on yourself. The word should can be a real challenge for many of us, and I'm definitely included in this challenge, where I often use the word should to guilt or shame myself. I should be doing insert thing here. When you catch yourself doing a should statement, you can easily change that into an I choose statement. So instead of saying, I should have exercised more today, you can say something like, I choose to focus on wellness and well-being so that I can be healthy. Or I give myself permission to focus on health and wellness. And while today I rested, tomorrow I will do my best to do more physical activity. So you can see how it changes I should exercise more, which is shaming and blaming and negative, into something aligned with the value of prioritizing your health and your wellness. So those are some prompts you can think about as you are working on recalling 3 things every night that brought you joy. I'd also encourage you to design your joy journal in a way that is appealing to you and makes you happy. Whether that's stickers or doodles or colored markers, maybe it's quotes from people you admire, affirmations that you enjoy repeating, mandalas and mantras, however it works for you, whatever makes sense for you. Decorate the joy journal so that it becomes something that you love. My joy journal, it's up by my bed right now because I write in it every night before I go to sleep. And I went to a brand new small local bookshop and got a chance to meet the owner and had a lovely conversation and was so inspired by his story and his family's story that I bought a beautiful leather-bound journal. It was a little bit of an extravagance, but I love the journal and it makes it such a pleasure to write in every night. I just look forward to the feel of it, to the thickness of the pages. So that's what works for me. But it can just be a plain piece of paper too that you've decorated in a way that works for you. It doesn't have to be something you go out and purchase, but make it yours. Make it beautiful and inspiring to you. Thank you for spending this cozy moment with me. Whether you're here from the library event or you're watching from anywhere across the world, know this: you deserve peace. You deserve presence, and you deserve joy. If you're curious about getting started with joy journaling, there is a video that you can check out that I made that goes into more detail about joy journaling in particular. Feel free to check it out. And don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share it with someone who could use a little hygge in their life today. But until next time, stay cozy, stay mindful, and keep choosing joy.